Cal Poly. Tate Davis on the road over Cal Poly. 30.
What do you say, everybody on YouTube? We'll see you today on the live stream on a Friday, a Bucket of Modelo Friday. Clay Baker and I will give you 2 hours of hopefully radio gold today as we get ready for the Indianapolis Colts in what feels like pretty much a must-win to me. I mean, I'm not the must-win guy. We're still dealing with microphone issues from time to time where it cuts in and out for no apparent reason. How about now? Does it sound better now, guys, or is it still bad, Fabian? I can unplug it and start it again. All right, I'm hoping I fixed everything. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we are going to rock today. We're going to rip the roof off. We're going to get some people involved. We want to get some good calls. We want to get some energy in here.
28.
That's what I do. I'm the energy provider. Let's get some energy.
Furman here, not by much. They're 21-20 the final. Where the Paladins. Close one. The Bucks need this game in the worst way. Furman, they're not quite back to their 2023 form yet, and they are gettable even in Greenville. If the Bucks don't get this one, I know I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again, it could get ugly in Johnson City.
Yeah, ready to go.
A close one. Paladins win 28-27. That brings us to the end of it.
How about my Yankees winning last night, huh? How about that one? That was nice.
Yes, Nation. Co-hosted
No cranky Yankee today.
I'm executive.
We got my Pete Carroll interview today. We have Jason Horowitz live, the voice of the Raiders, and the dean of the Newsman, Chris Matthews.
Play by the rules, and the penalties won't kill you. Until next week, so long, everybody.
This is Geno Smith. Right here, Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM, KRLD, Las Vegas.
Positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance at a place.
Your Silver and Black, home to Sound Off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT with you as we begin live from the flagship of the Raiders, Raider Nation Radio, on the Raiders mobile app and on my YouTube channel. Pretty easy. You listen to that Raiders mobile app, you get the show anywhere in the world. You subscribe to my YouTube channel for free. You get the video and audio all over the world. JT the Brick on YouTube, JT the Brick YT. Get in there. We've been a little light this week. This ain't summertime Friday. If it was a summertime on Friday, I'd be taking off today golfing with my son. I'm here to get the whole Raider Nation going. Try to sound off like you got up here and get a win. Am I the only guy around here who's fired up for a game? Let's go. We got a game coming up here. We got to win the game. Lost 3 in a row. Unacceptable. Got to win. They got a tough opponent in Indianapolis as the Raiders will take on Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes. He's got a lot of nicknames back in his day playing for the New York Giants. Most of them weren't good. He was a turnover machine. He got run out of New York, absolutely run out of New York. He was given multiple opportunities to win. He had Saquon Barkley as his running back. He had some pretty good players, but the Giants just were terrible, and they turned it over a lot. And guess who turned it over? It was Daniel Jones. I went back and looked at his numbers with the Giants. Oh, my God, it's amazing how great he's playing this year compared to what he's done in the past. But if you watched Thursday Night Football last night with Clay Baker at Chickies and Pete's, you would have known that Mac Jones played a couple of games here at Allegiant Stadium with the Patriots, and he looked like he forgot how to play football. And then last night, he looked like a top 10 quarterback in the league. Did you see that last night? This is why I don't gamble. I'd be living under a bridge. My wife would be bringing me soup. I'd be living under a bridge if I gambled. I didn't think the Niners had a chance to get off the bus at SoFi and win, let alone not lose by 20. I just thought they were going to get boat raced, and the Niners won last night, and I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. So anything could happen. Anything can happen, and we got to hope that the Raiders have one of those games where they put together a good game. The monologue's brought to you by our great friends at Golden Entertainment. They have so much happening at all of their taverns. We always tell you about happy hour, but if you're a gamer, you're going to love it there. They always have gaming specials. Happy hours 5 to 7, midnight to 2. Tremendous food menu and all the selections of everything that we like, from Modelo to Tito's to all of our proud partners, Remy Martin. It's all right there. We love the fact that PT's fuels the monologue. You know, for years I've been telling you, since the Raiders moved to Vegas, all I'm looking forward to is winning. That's the most important thing, winning and having fun. That's it. I want to win every game, and I want to enjoy my life and have fun at the games. Season ticket holder, Section 132. Just want to go in there and have fun, win games. And the problem is now that the games aren't entertaining. They're not. Halftime is, with Earth, Wind, and Fire, they're entertaining, or George Thorogood, who sent me a nice gift basket. Thank you to George. But we need to play some good quality football. We need to play clean football, a good solid game, which is fun, exciting, and entertaining. You see it all around the league. Every time you turn the TV on around the league, you see fun, exciting, entertaining football. And we only see it in small bunches once a week. The elite teams in this league play exciting, fun football almost every time they play. And we have to find a way in the Raider Nation to see that type of product. Have to get it going. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is they got to play a clean game. They got to come into the game with a great week of practice, which normally every coach that I've talked to in my life has a pretty good week of practice. Every once in a while, I'll hear someone tell me off the record, they didn't practice well this week. Coach wasn't happy. You know, they didn't practice well this week. And I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. But normally, everybody has a pretty good practice. These are professional football coaches who get paid a lot of money to break down film and run practices and have breakout sessions and meetings and all that. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They did it on other teams. And other coaches were on another team last year. It's all the same format. They run pretty much the same practice. But Pete Carroll does it different. He brings an element of competition in. That's fun, right? Shooting baskets, having some type of fun sports games during practice, competition. And it's supposed to keep everybody on their edge and everybody competing. Well, so far this year, I think all the practices have been buttoned up and good. I think the film study's been good. The team's been relatively healthy. Every team in football now, going into week 5's banged up. The Raiders have a couple players banged up, but Indy reported a lot of players are going to be out for this game. So every game we played this year, I believe, including the first week. Remember Christian Gonzalez didn't play for New England in week 1? Every game this year, we've been better, more healthy than the opponent. And I think the same goes for this game. But what happens in all these games, the losses, is that there's been 1 or 2 plays, start of the game, kickoff return, opening plays, an interception, opening play of the second half, an interception, last play of the game, a blocked field goal. Shall I go on? Where something happens that shouldn't happen. It's not a clean game. Handicappers can't predict a block kick. Handicappers can't predict an interception to start the third quarter. So I'm not going to call it a fluke, but it's kind of weird, isn't it, everybody? It's kind of weird that all this is going down. So what I'm waiting to see is the team to have a great week of practice and a great game. Home or on the road, and it's got to be now. Next up is Indy. So I think with Indy, this game, I think we've done a nice job with you this week, giving you perspective from the Indianapolis side and what they've been able to do with Daniel Jones and their stats and all that. I think we've done a good job, and we're pretty buttoned up with the Raiders around here. They just have to go out there and play a good, solid game, but none of us can predict it. Even Pete Carroll can't predict it. He can stand in front of the microphone all week long and tell you that they're practicing well and they're doing everything right. And then if Gino throws a pick to a high safety, everything they planned in practice is out the window. because it changes the game, down and distance, the score, and all that. So we kind of just got to hope that everything's working out this week, that we get a little bit of luck. We get a break. We get a tip ball that ends in an interception. We get a tackle. Did you see the tackle that the Niners made at the goal line last night to win the game? Rams are about to win the game. They're literally in the end zone. Fans in the upper deck thought it was over. And oh boy, did you see how many Niner fans were there? Look, we don't have much of a leg to stand on if you get 20,000 or 30,000 fans in our building from time to time. But it seriously looked like, Clay, it looked like there were 50,000. I'm not exaggerating either. I mean, it really looked like there were 50,000 Niner fans, and it's trending. It's all over social media.
Yeah, it sounded like it too. I mean, you have like a special home game. Doesn't anybody show up on a Thursday night against one of your hated division rivals?
Yeah, they're in the same boat that we are here in Vegas, is that those fans there are selling their tickets because they're making double or triple their money on an easy sell. Niner fans are everywhere. The Niner Empire's everywhere, and they're in the state of California. Easy to get from the Bay Area down to LA and drive and buy tickets if they're for sale. So that was interesting last night how that game ended. SoFi was all red last night, but the Rams still had the ball, running it in, crossing the goal line, and boom, the ball gets punched out, game over. That was impressive. That was really impressive. Robert Saleh and the performance of Mac Jones. So the Raiders have a better player than the guy who punched the ball out. His name's Max Crosby. The Raiders have a better quarterback than Mac Jones, I believe, in Geno Smith. But Geno's got to prove it now. So one of the things that I've been saying this week, because in the division's getting away from the Raiders very quickly. The Chargers are 3-1. They're playing the Commanders at home. Jaden Daniels is coming back. The Chiefs are 2-2. They're at the Jaguars. The Jaguars just beat the Niners. I don't think that's going to be an easy win for Kansas City. And the Broncos, and you look at what the Broncos just did with the game against the Bengals had their C team. And they were able to win. If the Raiders lose this game to go to 1-4, they're pretty much done in the division in regards to winning the division. And some people dreamed of winning the division. They're not out of the opportunity to get a wild card, nor would I say that after 5 games. But it's going to look pretty dicey at 1-4. So from what I'm hearing in the building and the practices and everything that's going on, is that team's going to get on the plane with the sense of urgency like they haven't had before this year. There will be a level of urgency when that plane lands in Indianapolis and they get to the hotel to attend the meetings and to attend the team meal and to do everything that's going to be a little bit more. I wouldn't say buttoned up because they're really buttoned up. It's going to be a little bit more intense. I think the players, from talking to 1 or 2 of them, know what's on the line here. They understand where the season is, and they could get right back into the season and be 3-3 in a matter of 2 weeks, 3-3, feeling pretty good going into Kansas City. That would be the best case scenario. The worst case scenario would be losing this game. I don't think they'll lose to the Titans, but they got to win this game. I don't think that 1-4 is very manageable for this team right now to dig out of a hole unless you see something that I don't see. They'll play every game and they'll play it hard. They'll play their ass off and play hard, but the division is slipping away. They all know it. I know it. You know it. You're the callers. You know it. You're watching me. So what do you want to do? I say we really step on the gas today. Raider roll call. I want to hear from fans all over the country. From New England. I want to hear from fans in Florida. I want everybody to check in and be proud of their team today. That's the least we can do for this great organization that's going through a struggle right now. As a fan base, the least we can do is step up and give some encouragement. Yeah, we do that, and hope that they get a win. And if they do, we'll be on the post-game show Sunday to talk about it and celebrate it on Monday. If not, the Raiders are going to have some heavy lifting to do for the rest of the season. So I'm not the guy who says, oh, this is a must win and you have to win this game and all that, but you know where I stand on this. This is a pretty important game against an opponent that is not the 85 Chicago Bears. Okay, we're not talking about the Montana Niners here. We're not even talking about Tony Dungy and the Peyton Manning Indianapolis Colts. Let's get our head on right that this is Daniel Jones. This is Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen, who played quarterback at UNLV. going up against Max Crosby and Pete Carroll. We respect the hell out of the opponent. We think the opponent's a hell of an opponent this year, but let's slow their roll a little bit. They just lost the game. Maybe this is where the lug nuts are starting to come off. Maybe this is where they're starting to slip a little bit. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear how the Raiders win this game. If you want to give us a score, man, this is the worst season I've ever had with callers predicting scores. I mean, we are a mess predicting the scores of these games. A mess. So let's try again. See, real big button I'm pressing here. Boom. Reset button. I'll go first. I think if the Raiders win this game, they got to score 28 or more, which they never do, which is like impossible around here to score 20-plus points. Not anymore. Chip's going to have to go 4 wide. Chip's going to have single back Ashton Genty 4 wide. We got to spread out the football field. As I talked to Phil Villapiano, we got to spread out the football field. We need those high safeties looking at Trey Tucker and Dante Thornton lined up right on the out-of-bounds line running go routes. We can't let those safeties come up because you know what they do when they come up? They pick Geno off. They see Geno's eyes, and then they go and pick him off. We can't have that. We got to have Brock Bowers running crossing routes. Crossing routes. You ever see when Brock catches the ball? Have you noticed that he's crossing over the middle of the field and they hit him in stride? Let's get Brock going. We got to get Brock going upfield. Okay? We got that, right? We got to incorporate Jack Besh. Jack Besh was a second-round pick. Second-round pick. We're not talking about some seventh-round pick, everybody. He was taken in the second round. The guy was a baller in college. He can run every route. He can catch every ball. You got to throw it to him. And I think the key is in this game, we have to get Trey Tucker going. He's got 4 touchdowns. He's been explosive in 2 games this year. We cannot forget about Trey Tucker and the deep ball. Now, is Chip going to be conservative because Geno's throwing picks and want to not throw the deep ball? Fair question. I don't think Chip is afraid of being wide open. I think Chip Kelly has called every type of game plan you could ever call in the history of football. He's got one lined up for this game. But if you look at this offensive line now, Jackson Powers-Johnson had a really good game. Colton Miller's out. Stone Forsythe will step in at left tackle. I know literally nothing about him other than what you know about him and his limited play in the league. But Pete Carroll trusts him. That's why he was brought in. So we'll see if he's able to do that. We'll see if he's able to step up. If he's going to step up, he's got to play well in this game. This cannot be we need Stone Forsythe to have 2 or 3 games to get going. This is the NFL. If you are a practice squad player or a backup player, you do your job and you play at a high level. None of this, well, it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks to get in a system. No. That's what we do in Henderson. It's called practice. You practice all week to be ready to play in the game. So we need to have a good game from him. And if he plays well, awesome. He's a big guy. Takes up a lot of space. I don't know how good he is on a speed rush and a bender coming off the edge. We'll see in this game. I think this is a really important Ashton Genty game. He's going up against Jonathan Taylor. You know, we like to compare quarterbacks. Last night it was Stafford versus Matt Jones. This is going to be Geno going up against Daniel Jones. This is going to be Ashton Genty going up against Jonathan Taylor. Ashton had a monster game. I mean, it was a breakout game for Ashton. 21 attempts, 138 yards, 6.6 yards per carry, and a rushing TD. He was the first rookie with a TD run and a catch since Bo Jackson in 1987. So he recorded the longest touchdown run, 64 yards by a Raider since 2022. And Raheem Mostert played pretty well. So he was 15.5 yards per catch. That was nice to see. So I think we got some players who are playing well. And we'll see what happens with who's active and who's down in the game. But I'm ready to go. We got a good show. Jason Horowitz, the voice of the Raiders, Chris Matthews, the dean of the newsmen, and Pete Carroll. We might double dip Pete today because he's speaking, right, Clay? He's got a press conference today.
Yeah, 12:50.
12:50. So I'll get my interview in with Pete. We'll try to do that ahead of time, and then we'll take Pete Carroll's live interview because what he says with me is a little bit longer, It's a little bit more detailed. We dive into it a little bit deeper. It's a hometown interview, but we get them to talk about different aspects of the game, and I'm excited about that. So hopefully everybody's doing well. I am thrilled as a Yankee fan. Last night, the Yankees beat the Red Sox. Cam Schlittler. See, I get practice with that one. Cam Schlittler pitched one of the most dominant games in baseball history. You know, I often say in sports, pretty much everything has been done before, right? There's nothing new that hasn't been done in a couple hundred years until last night. Listen to this. Yankees rookie Cam Schlittler. What a night he had. He went 8 shutout, allowed 5 hits, didn't walk a batter, struck out 12. He is the first pitcher in baseball history to go 8 innings, walk none, strike out 12 in a postseason game. Ever. Not Sandy Koufax, not Bob Gibson. Ever. Not Mickey Lolich. Ever. Whitey Ford. I thought it was in Yankee history. No, ever. How is that possible? How did we see a performance that has never been done before since baseball was played? Yes.
And I heard that for the Colts correlation, Pat McAfee in his college days at West Virginia, he was a 3-way player doing punts.
We are aware of that. We are aware of that. What does that have to do with the Raider game? What does that have to do with the Tim? I got to focus you, man. I got to get you into the game. I need the final score and how the Raiders win the game.
Well, I think the Raiders can start by imitating Travis Hunter. We need more guys who are willing to play both ways.
Goodbye. You are god awful. You are such a bad caller. I can't put you on the radio. And you're probably an unbelievable human being. What was that? Who can we play both ways, Clay? Who can play? Max can play both ways. Max can play tight end.
Yeah. JPJ demonstrated some tackling ability. But even Travis Hunter can't do it all.
Wow. Wow. Welcome to the JT the Brick Show. Here we go. Tim, buy my video. It's now a DVD at Amazon, How to Be a Better Caller for $19.95. It'll be worth it. It'll change your life. Let's start over again. XTO Raider in the Lou, St. Louis. Go ahead.
Oh, what's up, JT, man? I am Jack. I can't normally call in. I'm normally at work. But I took the day off today. I got a few things I got to do, you know. But the number one priority was to get my truck ready for the road trip to Indy, baby.
Yes. Yes.
Jack, look, we got to get behind this team, man. Anyone who's talking about same old Raiders, dude, stop. Whoever you're following on social media, you got to block them. Because, or you're not watching the games, you don't know ball. I don't know what your problem is. This is not the same Raiders. All right. Let me calm down a little bit, man. I'm telling you, I'm jacked. I'm pacing in my kitchen over here. I'm wearing out the floorboards. Dude, I'm in. So keys to win. I think, look, I love the idea of spreading things out, but I keyed in on something about one of your guests said earlier this week. He said that the Indy defense doesn't give up big plays. So that kind of got me thinking, and I'm thinking about the stuff that Gino's going through. Because I'm like you, man. Look, JC, look, he's thrown some picks. You know who else is throwing a lot of picks? Brett Favre, right? You wouldn't want Brett Favre on your team? I mean, come on, right? So I'm thinking the high completions, take the easy stuff that the defense gives you. Hit Ashton in the flat, get Jacoby, and I don't know if Brock's going to be around or not.
Brock's going to be around. Brock's going to play. We're good with Brock, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker.
Good.
We're good with all that. So yeah, you're saying come on in with some easy completions, get Gino going with some easy throws, so Gino can get going that way.
Up Trey to burn him deep. Yep. Exactly.
All right. Good job, my friend. We will listen to the show. We will find out where the tailgate is. You're going to a Raider tailgate, correct?
I've asked look, I couldn't find anything on the Black Hole website. I've asked all over Reddit. I'm cruising Facebook. I'm asking everybody.
Just listen to the show.
We'll
have it set. All right, we will. Keep listening. Thanks for the call. Hey, everybody in Raider Nation, Black Hole, everybody, let me know where the tailgate party is, will you? That's a good tailgate city, actually. I've been to Indy a few times for football. It's not a bad. They got like a warehouse area off the freeway bridges. Like there's a couple of good places to tailgate there. So let us know where that Raider tailgate is going to be, and I'll find out from Mark Jones and the Black Hole, as we always do. The Colts on defense, if you look at what they do on defense, they're giving up less than 100 yards rushing, 96 yards a game. The Raiders are giving up 102, so they're pretty much even. They're pretty much even. They're 5 or 6 yards apart in rushing defense. The passing defense for the Raiders are giving up 228 yards a game, and the Colts are giving up 223 yards a game. Defensively, they're ranked right next to each other. But then it comes to the most important stat, is how many points does your defense give up? And Indianapolis only gives up, we get the exact number, 20.8 points per game. Las Vegas gives up 24.8. So you're talking about close to a 5-point differential. That's a big deal in the NFL. So you got the Denver Broncos are giving up 16 points a game defensively. That's a stat I look at every year starting around now, week 4 or 5. Now some of the trends get thrown out and you see real stats and you see the top teams. Look at the top 10 defenses in football when it comes to these are the teams that give up less than 20 points a game. The 49ers at 19.6, Kansas City, Arizona, Jacksonville, who we play later in the year, 18 points a game. The Chargers, the Seahawks, the Broncos, and the Texans. And the Raiders are nowhere near the top of that list. So the Raiders have got to cut down on the amount of points they're giving up. And they need longer drives, as Lincoln Kennedy told us yesterday. They need more plays. The great Raider Dave is in Denver this morning or this afternoon. Hello, Dave.
Hey, how are you? Yeah, calling from the home area of Colorado Springs. Hey, look, Raider Nation, if you're going to call in about a kicker and start off that way, expect the boot. I mean, that was just ridiculous, man. Hey, I called in Clay's show earlier this week. I was questioning the corners, and now I find out that Howard's gone.
Yeah, he retired.
Oh, my goodness.
I heard that on Q's show yesterday. Yeah, that's a big deal.
I don't know if the new left tackle is going to be able to give the time needed without some help of another blocking, tight end or another back. To get something on a long float ball to Thornton. But, Tucker had his coming out party. Gino had his. And, Trenti had his. I think this is the Thornton show. I could just see him streaking across from the left side diagonally to the right and going between the safety and the corner if held low by another receiver and on a bullet, quick and precise. Just not a floater, but right at him. To where if something happens, it's towards the out of bounds. It's not going to be an interception. That's the way I think that Thornton gets introduced here, and they can go ahead and have a multi-TV game from him by just abusing whoever it is they're going to put in Howard's spot. Now, of course, the only way to go ahead and make sure that your new left tackle has confidence is run it more than pass it. Let him go forward and pound people. I mean, I like the other caller that said place them underneath stuff and pass. I think that's fine. But man, that's how you go after these guys. Is you got to run it hard and beat them up early so that you can have these, big runs by Genty late in the game. I'm thinking 31-26. Raiders win.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the call. And when I mentioned Brock, I'm hoping Brock can play. He hasn't been ruled out. Adam Schefter, 51 minutes ago, no practice for the second straight day for Raiders tight end Brock Bowers, who's been battling a knee injury. Bowers is not in uniform, and he's observing practice. So we'll hopefully get some news on that coming up here with Brock Bowers. It's next man up at the tight end position, with Michael Mayer going through concussion protocol, and Brock hasn't been right since that early knee injury. The monologue brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. It's America's original craft vodka. It's my go-to. Made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka makes the good stuff for good times. Find all their recipes at titosvodka.com, distilled and bottled by Fifth Generation. Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly. The Dean of the Newsmen, the man about town, Chris Matthews from 8 News Now, next. Boyd Gaming is the official. All right, guys, sorry about the Wi-Fi cutting in and out, but I cannot control that. There are 10 casinos across the site. Don't let the game go. All right, got a nice crew in here today. Appreciate everybody. Canes is bringing the party, whether you're tailgating outside the stadium or hosting. It's a shame that Brock is banged up, man. I hope he can play. And if he doesn't play, that's a big, big loss. Buttery Texas toast and jugs of lemonade and tea. Your game day just leveled up. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, official chicken fingers of the UNLV Rebels. Go Rebels. Hear that? That's mine. Yeah, so we got the Tigers in the playoffs. They'll play the Mariners. The Yankees will play Toronto. The Dodgers play Philadelphia. And the Brewers Cubs.
Great series.
That's a great series. That's a local series, man. That's a car ride away. Miller Park and Wrigley Field.
Chicago hate each other.
Yeah, they do. That's a good one. My wife's a Cubs fan, man. She loves the Cubs. Loves the Cubs. As much as I love the Yankees, man. So I watched that last night. I went to Durango, which is the local casino here in Vegas, where we have a partner of ours, Click Hospitality. And Click was fantastic last night. They really threw a nice little event for us, and we watched the game in the sports book, and then we went to Bel Air, the lounge there, and it was just packed. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Canyon and legendary skywalk where there are no words. Visit GrandCanyonWest.com and experience for yourself.
Oh, the U.S. military just blew up another boat carrying drugs in Venezuela. Jesus. Like a video game. Cam Slitler. Slitler. Say it again. Cam Slitler. Yeah, man, that guy with the 2-8 players. He's out of his mind, man.
That's the secret weapon.
That's the secret weapon. We need a 2-way guy.
Give something back to you. With the Westar Flex Reward MasterCard, it does. Earn 1 point for every $2 you spend.
Hey, Chris, it's JT the Brick Show calling. How are you?
Or charitable giving. Plus,
all right, good, thanks. Is this a good time for a couple minutes?
Card at 1,500 additional
okay, stand by. All right, we'll go right to you. Stand by. Come back in 40 seconds.
Apply today at westar.org. All those are subject to terms and conditions apply. Must be share savings for the balance.
A couple guys said they're calling, so keep a look at the phone a little bit when you get a chance.
Racing the October 12th at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Race day. Come on out to the Smith Store Friday, October 10th from 1 to 5 p.m. It's 9710 Sky Canyon Park Drive, Las Vegas. We're having an exciting event. We're either signing autographs, you can sample great products from our brand sponsors,
okay, what's your name?
And spin the wheel for gifts and prizes. We look forward to seeing you soon.
That's Friday, October 10th from 1 to 5 at the Smiths at Sky Canyon Drive. Hey, you listening? Got a quick question for you. What's better than ice cold beer or a quick shot with friends?
How about this? Get them for just $3 every single day.
Jacoby, where's Jacoby been the last couple of games? I don't know. They haven't had a lot of plays, as Lincoln Kennedy says. They don't have enough plays to get everyone involved. One football, if you don't have enough plays, not everybody's going to get involved. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by PT. The best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Gino the snap throws underneath. Genty at the 5. Breaks the tackle. That's for Genty. He's into the end zone. The rookie with his third touchdown of the ball game. His second through the air. And the Raiders go back in front with 5:23 to go in the third. 20-16.
Yes. Turn it up. That's Jason Horowitz. He'll join us at the top of the hour. Pete Carroll today with me. Brought to you by the M Resort, the official hotel of the Silver and Black. If you're coming into town from out of town, you're driving in from L.A., check the prices at M. The second tower is opening soon. The dean of the newsmen, our good friend, Chris Matthews, 8 News Now, joins us every other Friday. And Chris, the Raiders have their back against the wall. No other way to say it. I'm sure you're going to say it on your Sunday morning show. It feels like a must-win game if there ever was one.
Boy, it really does. You got these two teams, 1-3, 3-1, the Colts. And really, JT, the Colts might be the surprise of the league with what they've done. And former UNLV quarterback, yesterday we heard Patrick Graham talk about Shane Steichen, the head coach of the Colts. And he used to be a quarterback here at UNLV. You know, here's an interesting story, JT. I was looking through this stuff. Steichen, in his last 2 years at UNLV, over 2 seasons, won 4 games. So you talk about a guy who was determined after college football to go make a life and do something in coaching. Well, that guy has risen to the top and now a head coach in the National Football League. And Patrick Graham was just praising that guy yesterday, and he's done a terrific job with this Colts team, ranked 3rd in total offense. And they got this Daniel Jones guy who kind of disappeared in the state of New York, and now he is the Colts doing all sorts of things. So it's kind of fun for them. But yeah, you're right. It almost kind of has that feel of the Raiders really got to get on track. And if it wasn't for a few unfortunate situations there against Chicago, they should have won that game if it, the interception and so forth. But he just had a shot of the running back, Ashton Genty. How great is that guy? He's all kinds of stats. You can look at him and say, hey, he had a breakout game. It looks like he may be on his way to doing some explosive things over the course of these over the course of this season. But I'm excited about this game. I really think they'll come out and play. I really like the way Geno Smith handles himself as well. As it all falls on his shoulders. It's all me. I got to improve, and I really like that. Hopefully he gets better against the Colts here.
He's got to, Chris. I mean, there's no other way around it. If you don't play well after 6, 7, 8 weeks, you're not going to have the job. And I think Geno's a hell of a player. I'm pro Geno. I think he's going to work his way through this. I'm just a little bit confused on how he gets out of the slump. Is it by attacking more? Do you spread it out more and let Geno, or do you get more conservative? The news today, second day in a row that Brock Bowers isn't at practice today, and he wasn't even suited up today. If Brock isn't able to go or he's limited, I mean, someone's going to have to step up with the deep ball. It'll either be Trey Tucker, or a lot of our callers think it'll be Dante Thornton. One of those two guys has got to carry a heavy load, considering Michael Mayer and Brock aren't where they need to be. And that's what concerns me coming into this one.
Yeah, you got your 2 tight ends that are dinged up and banged up, and Geno Smith not playing his best football right now. That is certainly a concern. One thing I do like, and hopefully they do stretch the field, and you mentioned Thornton, get him out there. And Jacoby Myers is having a terrific season as well. You got Trey Tucker, but yeah, if they can stretch the field, which they are doing. I was looking over some stats today that they're one of the top teams in the league in terms of explosive plays, those plays of 20-plus yards. They have 18 of them. So they actually are spreading the ball around and taking some deep shots. 2 plays of 50 or more yards here in 2025, just 4 games into the season. So yeah, that's the thing. And then work, do what you did with Genty, scoring those 3 touchdowns, 2 of them through reception, short yardage passes to Genty. Let him do the work, because he's hard to bring down. What do they say about this guy? When you got to wrap him up, and even if you do, he still has the ability to break free.
Absolutely. Chris Matthews, sports director, 8 News Now. Chris, Stone Forsythe will play for Colton Miller. And I love what you're doing on Sunday mornings on Game Day with Lincoln Kennedy. You're sitting down every week with one of the all-time greats to do it. But left tackle is one of the most important positions in the league on any team. Colton Miller's been a really good one. I don't think he's going to be available for quite some time. They got to make sure that this guy comes in and plays, or at least holds up, so they don't have to put one of the rookies out there.
Well, yeah, when you have your best offensive lineman and having Geno Smith under duress, really for the first, well, maybe 3 of the 4 games, he was under extreme duress. Mm-hmm. Now you take away your best offensive lineman, the most important lineman perhaps. What do you think about this? 12 sacks over the first 3 games. So he hasn't been able to get back there and see and look and have the luxury of some other quarterbacks in the league because he's been under duress. So we'll see what happens with this offensive line. But it seems like I really like Jackson Powers Johnson out there. He seems like he brings that energy and hopefully he can play smart out there, but continue bringing that sort of energy that he brings. And if Stone can play well, at least kind of be serviceable, maybe they can do something again. But it just seems that's a tall task. Not order, but hey, in the NFL, JT, we've said it for years now. It's really it's a league of attrition. Whoever can stay healthy as the longest has the best opportunity. So next man up mentality, that's what they say. So we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, Chris, it really comes down to that about attrition, and the Raiders have been fortunate to be pretty healthy until right about now. I want to stay on Daniel Jones because he got run out of New York because he would throw the ball to the other team. He's going through what Geno's going through now, and the New York fans were brutal on him. With all respect to our town that we're in Vegas, this isn't New York media. This isn't WFAN. This isn't, a million fans coming in and ripping the quarterback. And what I was impressed about Daniel Jones, he was a great teammate and a great leader. He took a ton of abuse in that number 1 media market, and he handled it well. And it just goes to show you, even Mac Jones last night, I'm sure you watched with the 49ers. You change your address, you go to a new coordinator, new coach, all of a sudden it clicks, and it's doing that for him. He's playing really well.
Yeah, when you think about what he's done so far this season, JT, the fans in Indianapolis got to be loving it, and especially Shane Steichen working with this kid. What does he have? A passer rating of over 205, 0 interceptions in 3 of 4 games this season. And you really like his home start where he has, over 270 yards passing, 0 interceptions in his 2 home starts. And he ranks 3rd in the NFL with over 1,000 passing yards so far. So you look at that and you look on Geno's side, 7 interceptions into the season, just about 4 games in. This Daniel Jones guy, you mentioned, it's interesting, JC, you just mentioned Geno Smith came from New York where he struggled and booted out of New York, and then here's Daniel Jones booted out of New York, and look what he's doing. So you got to kind of hope, we've said this all along, that Geno Smith can kind of revert back to those Seattle days, not the Jet days.
Look, if I don't think Geno Smith's better than Mac Jones or Daniel Jones, I should have my FCC license taken away. I'm not saying he's playing better. I'm not saying he's playing better than him now. He's not. But I got to believe that Geno's been to Pro Bowls and played at a high level and has won 10 games and done it all, could do it here. Chris, I want to pivot to the Aces. Man, that got dicey, and there was no Caitlin Clark, and the Aces get through, and now they're the favorite to win another title for Mark Davis and what he's been able to do with this franchise here. Asia Wilson, her 4th MVP. This is a big opportunity for Vegas, Las Vegas, to get another championship just a few games away, a couple of victories from there.
Yeah, for the first time, the WNBA Finals will be a best of 7. The first 2 at home. They play this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Game 1 tips off. And you mentioned they're gunning for their 3rd WNBA title in 4 years. Yeah. Looking to chase that great team from back in the day, the Houston Comets, and the Minnesota Lynx had some nice runs, and Seattle had a couple of championships back as well. So if the Aces can win this one, perhaps one more in the next couple of years, they might be talked about as one of the great dynasty teams in the WNBA. And with the adversity they went through in that opening series, having to win Game 3 in that short best-of-3 series, they won it at the buzzer, by the way. So they win that one. Then without Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham and Aaliyah Boston fouls out, and in overtime, and even Kelsey Mitchell gets hurt. He goes out, has to go to the hospital with that the blood cramping thing, whatever. So all these stars were out, and yet still they managed to get right there. They were right there in the game toward the end in overtime, Chelsea Gray hits a couple of back-to-back threes, and the Aces survive, which puts them into the championship against Phoenix. Now, against Phoenix this season, they were 3-1. So they maybe have their number, but it's going to be really interesting. You know what's even more interesting, JT, is all the criticism the league has taken. Kathy Engelbert was officiating with the way the league runs. So today when we talk to Becky Hammond and Kathy, we're going to ask them about which kind of, because it's kind of taken away a little bit from the actual finals itself. People are talking more about the criticism and the officiating.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that in your commentary on 8 News Now later on. And finally, I'm more of a city boy. I happen to find my way out to Vegas from New York, but UNLV in Laramie, Wyoming. What do I need to know there, Chris? I know you've been through that neck of the woods, as they like to say. No concern here for Dan Mullen and the 4-0 undefeated Rebels going up against a 2-2 team, or is that a kind of a trap game? That's a tough place to play.
You know, that is always a tough place to play up in there. I've been up there a few times with the Rebels football, and really it's the show in town. So when they're up there and they're the big fish in the small pond, those Wyoming Cowboys, so they're going to really saddle up and go to work. But it's going to be fun to see what they can do, because they're only one of 20 unbeaten teams UNLV is in the country, major programs, and they haven't won up there since 2019. So we'll see if they can get a win. They haven't started a season, by the way, JT. Get this, they haven't started a season 5-0 since 1974. That was back when they were a Division II program. So Dan Mullen's going to go up there. They're coming off the break, getting guys healthy, working the game plans, and I think they come away with the win. But that's a tough place to go up there and play.
Well, Chris, we'll talk to you after the Titans game. And looking at this, the Raiders have an opportunity to get to 3-3, but it doesn't matter if they don't beat Indy, because this Indy game sets up a home game against the Tennessee Titans that could really put the Raiders back on track. We're always watching. You're the best at what you do. Thanks for doing this with us. I appreciate you.
Thank you, JT. It was an honor. Appreciate it.
You got it. Chris Matthews, 8 News Now, the dean of the Newsmen. There's a lot of news anchors in town, men and women, and he's the dean, because he's the guy I watch. I watch them all. I watch Vince Sapienza, Kevin Bollinger. I watch Alex Esselman. I watch everybody. They're all on the show. I'm all watching them. But Chris, the dean of the Newsmen, we appreciate him coming in here. Let me get up a call. I appreciate everybody being patient. I used to be a caller. I know what it's like to sit on hold during the breaks. Jose is in Berkeley. How about that? There's a Black Hole Cal chapter brewing up there. What's going on, Jose?
What's going on, JT? Good afternoon. Happy Friday.
You too.
Congrats on your Yankees. The key to the game for me, I think you need to run since Raheem is healthy. Run a 1-2 combo with Genty and Raheem. That will open up for the pass.
So you want more? You want more Raheem Mostert?
Well, yeah, that would give more help for Genty.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah, I'm all.
Raheem is fast. He looked like he had something in the last game. I wish we would have had him since the beginning of the season. I think that would get us back on track. And my prediction for the score is 30-27 with Carson. With a winning field goal, that would make you think a lot better.
Yeah.
Raider Nation. That way we put us back on track here.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. There's a guy 30-27. Yeah, I kind of agree with them. I think that is where this is going to be. I really do. And now we're brought to you by Volvo, our newest proud partner here. Lease a new Volvo and sign and drive. Volvo waives your first payment. The federal credit on electric vehicles has ended, but Volvo has extended the $7,500 credit on all new 2025 Volvo EX90 and EX30 EVs. Get 2.99% APR financing for 72 months through Volvo Financial Services on most new 2025 and 2026 models. Head on out and ask for Mike. He's there. You can test drive it. It'll be a life changer for you. Everybody's always thinking about a new car. If you need one, please look at Volvo, one of the safest cars on the planet and a proud partner of our show. All right, we got my conversation with Pete Carroll, which I'm excited about, and Jason Horowitz, the voice of the Raiders. We got a lot of radio left here on a gorgeous Friday. I was going to golf after the show with my son. The wind's kicking up. Last thing I want to do is chase a golf ball into the desert via the wind. Hopefully it'll calm down today. Great day in Vegas. Thanks for being here. All right, I'll let Jason know we're calling in 10 minutes or so.
teams and call fundamentals, call whatever you want. They got called for holding 3 different times for 3 different players on returns. Yeah, week over week. I said it. I can almost guarantee special teams are going to be better.
All right. So Surfer Bob says, I can't believe JT is saying that Geno's better than Mac Jones and Daniel Jones. Really?
7 a.m.
Really? You think, are you that stupid to think that Geno would be out of the league after the numbers he put up the last couple of years? You know, Surfer Bob, I know we were going back and forth with each other. You are really trending with me, man. I am really close. The Bricktator, see the finger? The Bricktator is right on you, man. I'm sick of your crap. Can't believe I think that Geno's better than Mac Jones. What the hell have you been watching the last 2 years with him with the Patriots? He's a backup quarterback. Geno's not a backup. Surfer Bob, did you get hit with a surfboard at Mavericks or something, or in Maui on the North Shore? You're out of your mind lately. This is a brickocracy. All right, Clay, we got a shorty here.
Yep.
The Aces are playing at home tonight. The Aces are playing at home tonight, Clay, huh?
Friday night.
T-Mobile or Michelob Ultra?
Ultra.
Yeah. Yeah, you're too honest for me. No, you're too stupid to think that Geno isn't better than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones played 4 freaking games this year. He's been a bum, and Geno's been really good for years in Seattle. And you're what are you, just looking at the game last night with Mac Jones, and that means he's better than Geno? Unbelievable. Look, I'm defending Geno as long as I can, and then when Geno gets out of this, great. If he doesn't, we know what's going to happen. So come on.
Do you want to say greater, Greg?
Yes.
Okay. Greg, you're next. We come back in 3 minutes, okay? Thank you.
MRide.com is promo code BRICK. That's MRide.com, promo code BRICK.
The LGBTQ Center.
And how about John? There it is, the Bricktator. Look at that. The John Gruden lawsuit, man. John Gruden, another step closer to being vindicated. How about that?
Dude, that was great, Nevada.
7-0.
Our state constitution doesn't run with that.
Located in the
We don't
Las
agree with you,
Vegas
NFL.
downtown. The center also.
NFL did everything they could to get the NFL here. Say Nevada's like, we don't like you.
Yeah. I don't know of anybody who knows more of this topic other than me, including Adam Schefter, Mike Florio, because I know both the people intimately involved in this. And I hope John Gruden gets his day in court, but I don't think the NFL wants to go to court.
Mistakes.
Last option, the Supreme Court.
Yeah, which if the NFL wants to go to the Supreme Court, that would be super shocking to me. Do you want this at the Supreme Court where you could lose?
Circus. You don't want that circus.
You know,
protect the image.
Protect the shield.
Emotionally changed forever because someone was distracted or drunk, or some company put their profits over your safety. You need an experienced, compassionate lawyer to take on the stress of dealing with the insurance companies and big corporations, so you can focus on your health and well-being. I'm Justin Watkins with Battleborn Injury Lawyers. We focus on excellent results and unparalleled customer service. Outsource your stress to us. Call me today at 766-1400 at Battleborn.
So if the Aces win, they're a dynasty. That would be 3 in 4 years. That's a dynasty. You're not a dynasty unless you have 3.
Incredible.
You can't have a dynasty with 2 of anything. No such thing as a dynasty with 2. Remember those 89, 90 Pistons? One of the greatest teams ever. Not a dynasty. One of the greatest back-to-back teams.
Dynasty.
Yeah.
Celtics, Lakers, 80.
Yeah.
Dynasty.
On the Las Vegas
All right, run back with Mackey's interception.
Brought to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
Middle of the field's open. Caleb Williams in an empty set with 1 on the play clock. Claps his hands, gets the ball back to throw. Over the middle. 6. By the floor. The interception. And the Raiders defense just keeping them in the ball game.
That's Jason Horowitz. He joins us in a few minutes. Also, the breaking news earlier, the Nevada Supreme Court has unanimously rejected the NFL's attempt to block John Gruden's lawsuit. This means Coach Gruden can move forward with discovery, digging into league emails, records, and communications involving Roger Goodell and other NFL executives. The NFL fought hard to stop this, but lost 7-0. Now the case could expose how and why John Gruden's emails were leaked. There is no one in sports media that knows more on this topic than I. Bruce Allen's emails were taken. He's my mentor. He hired me from the Raiders. He is a dear friend of mine. And you know my relationship with Coach Gruden. No one on radio knows more on this topic on and off the record than I do. So I've been staying in my weeds. I've been staying in my lane. And this is a big win. And believe me, the NFL does not want to go to the Supreme Court. They can go to the Supreme Court. They do not want to go to the Supreme Court and make it a circus. Raider Craig in Sacramento. Thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Thanks for taking my call, JT. Go Yanks as always. When I get straight to it, I really think that this game could be a statement game of physicality. I really liked how the linemen were firing off of the ball last week. I felt like there was some great defense plays, great individual plays, and teamwork. I like how the DBs are playing. I really want to continue to see that 1-2 punch with Mostert and Genty. I think we should really, listen to Lincoln Kitty always saying that the linemen like to go forward, not backwards. I think that also helps to kind of calm down Gino a little bit. I think we get the ball quick. I want to see some wide receiver screens with some stack options with Trey Tucker on the opposite side. I believe that when you stack him on that single side by himself with the stack on the other side with Jack Best and guys like Jacoby Myers, that drag play that he runs seems to be unstoppable. I've watched it multiple times over the last past week. He's able to get quickly across the field behind those linebackers. I think we get the ball out quick. I want to see some wide receiver screens. I want to see Jack Best get more involved.
Yeah.
All around weapon. He blocks well. He catches the ball well. He's a physical guy out there. Kind of reminds me of like a Darren Waller body type. So I really like to see him get more involved. But I really think we should just make this a ball control, physical game. Ride with the mentality of JPJ and the line out there. I want to see these guys shoot off the ball. I'd like to see between Genty and Raheem Mostert get about 25 carries. I really think we could take they've lost a player on the defense backside and in the wide receiver room, the Colts. I think we can take advantage of that.
Yes.
Get up close, play physical man-to-man ball, let our defensive line get to them, and just play a physical ball control game. I think we can get this. I think this will be a 14-13 victory. Mentality, all smash mouth. God bless you and God bless Rick.
Oh, that's a hell of a phone call. Nice job. Keep calling in. That was a really good breakdown. Kind of what we're looking for here. Kind of exactly what we're looking for. 14-13. I can't handle another game with only 14 points, man. I need some points. I need to get in the high 20s in this game. So Chip and Gino take the next step going forward. We are brought to you by Grimaldi's, the best pizza I've ever had. 4 locations. We have an announcement coming up on where I'll be hosting from Grimaldi's. How does that sound? A pizza remote. I mean, there's nothing better. I dreamed of being a radio host and having pizza remotes. So we're going to have a big Grimaldi's pizza remote coming up here. I'll tell you all about that. And then when we come back, Jason Horowitz, the voice of the Raiders. He's another straight shooter. He sits with us on the pregame show before the game, and he tells you they didn't do this right, they didn't do this right, they did this right. He's in full prep for the Indianapolis Colts. We'll get to him coming up. Brought to you by M-Ride. Ride like the pros do. MRide.com. Put JT the Brick in the code and get the deal I get. All right, I'll be right back, everybody.
You want to take a call from Union City, Mario?
Yeah, Mario first, and then we'll do Jason.
Mario, just hold on. We're going to get you a call just after the break. You'll be first, all right? Thanks, man.
It's the power. You're an extra. Las Vegas features over 30 big screen TVs, 24 different beers on draft, and it's family friendly. So bring the kids. Located at the Uncommons near Durango and the 215. Find them online at General Admission.
All right, we'll take Mario first, and then we'll go to Jason Horowitz, and then my interview with Pete Carroll.
XNL on Saturday, October 18th at Silverado Ranch Park. Don't miss the
Got nothing planned tonight, man. A quiet Friday. Clay, what do you got planned? Anything?
No, nothing. Like to see Paul McCartney over at Allegiant. My son's really into the Beatles right now.
Oh, is he?
So I was like, maybe we should.
Yeah,
might do that Saturday.
Good. Has Craig got any freebies over there?
No, I'm on SeatGeek.
Oh, yeah. What are the prices looking like?
It's pretty decent at $35.40 for upper deck.
How much?
$35-$40 for upper deck.
That's it?
Yeah, Paul McCartney.
Hi, this is Paul Pata from
That's including the fees.
Whether it's a car
Really? $40 for Paul McCartney?
Yeah.
if you injured due to someone else.
Wow. What are some of the lower ones going for? 2, 3?
Yeah, like
your life back on
70 to 150 for lower bowl.
Check us out at
Not too bad.
Call us 702
Wow.
3000.
Modelo is an official
I was thinking about taking like a Ringo, but we couldn't get me free ones. So maybe this is the hit.
Modelo Especial
You should take him to McCartney if the tickets are at that price.
crisp, refreshing taste. Brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
All right, 30.
You're up for epic football game days under the
Okay.
sun. Stadium Swim at Circa Resort and Casino. Dive into 6 temperature-controlled pools or relax in luxurious lounge chairs, day beds, and
I want to see the Wizard of Oz, man. I do. I want to see that. I want to see that Wizard of Oz, man. My wife's cousin went the other day. She's from Illinois. She loved it. I mean, it's good. You know, people love it.
today.
It's so nice. That tornado in the beginning, it makes it look like you're on the front porch.
Yeah,
Winds blowing
I'm all
over
for
it.
that, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. Your
It's a twister.
It's the team. He's just Carroll. Here's that, man. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's what I love about your silver and black. He just sound off for over 25 years. I want to play harder than a guy lining up across the team, lining up across from me. And if you're not, I want to be the space that's for the Raiders. I said that. Excellence every night. Here's JT.
All right, JT, back hour number 2. Jason Horowitz here in a few moments. We're waiting to hear more news on Brock Bowers, who did not participate again today. So we'll see what's going to happen here with him. We need Brock Bowers, but if he can't go, he can't go. But we'll wait for the Raiders to make that announcement when it comes, and he has time to get ready for this game on Sunday. I want to get to Mario, my longtime Yankee friend in Union City. Mario, that was one of the greatest pitching performances of all time, and it happened in the Pinstripes in the Bronx.
You said it. I couldn't say any better than that. But that was classic. JT, real quick. The guys wanted to go and watch football and baseball. I stayed at my house just like you did, my friend. We got the next round, Toronto. We've already had butted heads with them. They got the best players, but everything's here. We start fresh. Now, Canada, and just our infield, I'm proud of our infield, and our bats are actually hitting the way we should in the pitch. It's just stupendous, and it's great. JT, 28, 26, Sunday, ready. Let's get that offense moving, my man. Let's get it going. Okay, JT.
Got it, man. Go Yankees. I got a guy who's going to say go Tigers now. The voice of the Raiders, Jason Horowitz, joins us. Nice when you have a boyhood team playing in the postseason in October, huh?
Well, especially when you thought that they were going to finish their epic collapse of the worst of all time, and then lose to the Guardians again, because that's how it was set up to happen, and it didn't happen. So not only is it fun when you have a team playing in the postseason, JT, it's fun when they surprise you because they actually win in the postseason.
Yeah, I thought in the summer, roughly July, I'd have to go back. They were the best team in baseball. I thought the Tigers. I thought they were the only team. I thought they were the only team that could beat the Dodgers if they ended up. You know, the Dodgers look with their payroll to be a lock. Now I don't know if the Dodgers can get past Philadelphia. Philadelphia looks great, and the Dodgers, had to play in that wild card round, and then in fact, you saw what the Yankees did to the Red Sox and just the energy in the Bronx. So it's nice to have baseball going along with football.
I do think, and it's cool too. And I don't know how you feel. I know you're a big guy. You're always commenting on the Yankees, but I do like that some cities that aren't usually getting postseason baseball are, forget just Detroit, but like Seattle, Toronto, And people talk about the Cubs as historic franchises they are, but like with the exception of about 10 years ago when they made a couple of World Series runs, or haven't had a ton of postseason trips the last 15, 20 years either. So it's just great baseball cities that are having postseason baseball right now, and that's awesome.
Let's get to the Raiders now with Brock Bowers, who didn't participate again. Now that could be interesting going forward. At some point, if he's not 100%, if he gets shut down, I would understand that because he's been playing through some type of injury that we're not aware of. But what do you see when you call the games with his lack of explosive, or is he explosive but just off a little bit?
No, honestly, the only way they're getting him the football is getting him in open space. Last year, one of the things, I was thinking about this today because Brock doesn't have any touchdowns this year, but his first career touchdown was week 5 last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on the jump ball in Denver. Gardner Minshew kind of threw it up, and he jumped 2 defenders and then sprinted down the field for a really long touchdown. And I don't think he could do that right now. The only way they're able to get him the ball are these short passes on bootlegs, things that he kind of just gets out in the open field because of coverage, and then he turns it upfield and gets some extra yardage because there's a blocker or something like that. So, I don't know if he retweaked it on Wednesday. He did practice in a limited way Wednesday, then he hasn't practiced it. So I'm not sure what that is. But I think we've all seen what with last year and what he was week 1. And unfortunately, he hasn't been able to be anything close to that.
Jason Horowitz is our guest. What can you tell us about Stone Forsythe? There isn't a lot of information out there, but coming through Pete Carroll here and the loss of Colt Miller, he's in a really tough spot in a hostile environment.
He's a 6th-round pick for the Seahawks with Pete and his staff, and so they know him well. He started, handful of games for a couple of years. He was with the Giants this year as a guy that was trying to make the team as their back swing tackle to, another former Raider in Jermaine Illuminor. And he got cut. And, I think clearly the Raiders, John Spytek and Pete Carroll, were looking for a guy because they didn't like Sarah Munford as their backup, and they clearly don't think or didn't think that Charles Grant was ready to be the backup. And so they went out and hired someone that they know that they're comfortable with. He's now been with the organization for 4.5 weeks, and he's going to get thrust right into that spot. And, I hope he surprises. And not to say that he can't. Like I said, he made a bunch of starts. But when you think about Pete Carroll's last 2 years in Seattle, most of the time the offensive line was not the thing, JT, that people talked about positively. It was almost the thing that was the bottom of the roster for them. And so I think that's something I'm glad they have someone they trust, but I think he's going to have to outperform what I think the outside expectations are.
Jason Horowitz is our guest. So when you're on other shows, making other appearances around the country, they ask you about Geno Smith. I mean, it's really bizarre to me because I've seen him play at such a high level, and some of the picks he can't get back, but he'd love to have him back. And then I got Chip, who's this wizard of play calling, who's got just binders of plays to call, but they're going to be limited if he doesn't have confidence that the quarterback can make all the throws. What do you think's going on here?
Well, we all know he leads the league in interception, and it all happened all in the second drive of the season. And the crazy part is, just from a record standpoint, the Raiders, despite 4 turnovers last week, still should have won them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just mean it because of the 54-yard field goal attempt that might have or may not have made. I in other aspects, the Raiders have won. And so, would we feel better about Geno's play if he's still throwing 7 picks and we're 2-2? Probably not. Fortunate to be 2-2, and you feel a lot better about breakout performance. But I think Geno is a veteran of this league. He knows that he can't play that way, but we also know that he's a guy that does put the ball in harm's way. That's not unusual for him. It's also part of what has made him so good because he's willing to take shots down the field to get these big plays, and he's done that his entire, I'm going to say his entire career, but I mean his Seattle career and now with the Raiders. So it's part of what has been successful for him. But it's not like interceptions are new. He had 35 picks the last 3 years. That's a big number.
It is.
So you kind of live with it. But you don't live with 3 a game twice in the first 4 weeks.
No doubt about it. You had a great call, bunch of them with Ashton Genty, and the lining up straight has been talked about, standing up like Michael Myers. But what did you see when you look back at those touchdowns with him receiving the ball, and how that could be a tremendous asset going forward, getting him out of space?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's clearly something they told us. You and I were in the same meetings in Princeton with Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, and they said how much they thought he was better in pass protection than they realized. Now I realized the first 3 weeks that had been something they talked about as he needs to improve on, because he did miss some plays, and Kirk had talked about that during the broadcast. So I do think they feel comfortable that he can be in those situations where screens and flare outs and things like that. But he did touch the ball 23 times last week and scored 3. Mm-hmm. So last week our entire conversation heading into game 4 was they got to run the ball better. He's got to touch the ball more. The offensive line's got to play better. All of those things now, can they continue to happen without Colton Miller? And I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to see special teams drastically improve, and some little things that we're not talking about either. That would be A.J. Cole being more of an offensive weapon. I'm talking about dropping it inside the 5. And it's hard to do, but when you're the best punter in football or one of the top 2 or 3, you got to do it. And it's just not about field position. It's about being an offensive asset for the team and flipping the field. And Daniel Carlson, I think he would have made that kick if it wasn't blocked, but I'm not positive here. Got to get him going too, because I think if the Raiders are going to win these games coming up, they're going to be by a field goal or so. I don't think they're going to blow anybody out. So special teams has got to be buttoned up very quickly here in this dome in Indy.
Yes. Well, 2 things, at least the Raiders aren't unique this year in having some special team struggles, right?
Yeah,
that conversation. I was listening to a radio show on Sirius XM NFL Radio yesterday, and this is before the blocked extra point last night in the Rams-Niners game, where I think they said the number so far is 12 blocked kicks. And what is it, JT? 5 or 6 returns?
Touchdowns.
Or maybe it's 7. So you got all those things happening all over the league. And, let's be honest, the kickoff, that's what the league wanted. They wanted more of those things. But that doesn't change the fact that there's more punt return touchdowns, too. And I think, we're all talking about the fact that 50-yard field goals are automatic for kickers now. And, whatever the reason is that is being discussed. But what's also happening is kickers and punters are so much longer that they're out kicking the coverage. And we saw that, AJ, the 90-yard punt return for a touchdown, AJ totally out kicked the coverage. And we are seeing that happen on a regular basis that I don't think we saw, at least in my first 3 years. So I don't think it's unique to the Raiders, but it's certainly something that they've got to get cleaned up starting this weekend. Because the other part of that, JT, is because the Colts have dynamic returnmen who have been all-pro returners before.
Yeah, I think the Colts are beatable because of the way they played their last game, but they could have beat the Rams. They dropped the ball going into the end zone, which is should have. And yeah, and I thought that this is a team that when I look back at Daniel Jones and following him, I always refer back to my dad. My dad's 87 and he lives in New York. Born and raised a Giant fan, and he loved Daniel Jones. And he'd always tell me how great of a runner he was. And he'd be like, oh, that guy can run. And I'm like, you're right, Dad, he can run, but he throws 2 picks a game. And they ran him out of New York because they gave him $40 million, and they got nothing for Saquon Barkley. And look at Saquon Barkley. This story with Daniel Jones is becoming this season's biggest redemption story. And that says a lot in a league that has a lot of redeeming storylines.
Well, remember, he tore his Achilles or his ACL in Antonio Pierce's first game as head coach. So that happened in 2023. And then last year he does make 10 starts, but I think he had 8 touchdowns, 7 receptions, threw maybe less than 200 yards a game. And he was cut, benched and cut. And Vikings in a couple of months with Kevin O'Connell, and now it's like he's totally different with the Colts. Look, the reality is, the first 3 weeks, he's as good of a quarterback in the NFL. And I'm not saying he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks. The first 3 weeks of the season, he played like one of the top 10 quarterbacks. One of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. And he could say that, hey, the Titans and the Dolphins aren't very good. 1, 2 teams shouldn't have. But I think we all think the Broncos are very good. And seem to be. They have a really good defense. And Daniel Jones picked them apart at times in that game. So the Raiders are going to have their hands full. I don't think this is the same Daniel Jones I know Shane Steichen compared it a little bit. There's a lot of similarities between Geno Smith and Daniel Jones. I think the difference is that Daniel never had a year to sit out. He only had a few months to sit out, and now he's back with a redemption story. Geno had a few years in between where he sat behind Phillip Rivers and behind Russell Wilson and behind Eli Manning and watched some really good veterans where, Daniel Jones last year was just behind Sam Darnold. So I see what he's kind of getting at. But I think if you're the Colts, you're like, wow, look what we found here. And Anthony Richardson, yes, he was the 4th overall pick, but we found a guy, and if he plays like this all year, not only are they going to win the division, they're going to be a threat to win a playoff game or two.
All right, I always ask you this when we're at the Torch, and I'll ask you it here on the radio, here on the flagship. What do you think they have to do to win the game? Your one big key as you're doing your prep for this game that just has to happen, and it could be the difference in the game.
They can't let Jonathan Taylor lose. And I think the Raiders' true identity as a run defense is 3 of the 4 games we've seen, not the Washington game. So I'd like to make sure that defense travels, not the one that traveled to Washington. But number 2, Jonathan Taylor's leading the NFL in yards, rushing yards this season, and we saw it firsthand 3 years ago when he won the game on a long touchdown run, and we saw it a couple of years ago, right? Dude just break 20-yard runs whenever he wants. And that's what we're hoping Ashton Genty is, right? And so don't let Jonathan Taylor be better than Ashton Genty. Let our current version of Jonathan Taylor be better than their version of Jonathan Taylor. And if that happens, you put less on Geno Smith's shoulders, and the defense is on the sidelines a little bit more. And that's going to be important too.
Indy's a fun city. I know you go there a lot for basketball and Final Fours and all that. Really? You don't love it? Why?
No, I did it to Clay and the guys in the morning earlier this week. I always feel like Indy has so many more abilities to have better restaurants and more stuff going on downtown. And there's a lot of great stuff there, right? Mm-hmm. They got a really nice AAA ballpark, and Butler campus is a few miles. That's just stuff. But I've always thought Indy could be better than it is. And I'm not a shrimp guy, but St. Elmo's doesn't.
And then it does nothing for you. I've only been there once, and I thought it was fabulous. But you're right. It's not Vegas. Can we say that? It's not Las Vegas, fabulous Las Vegas?
Detroit or Chicago or Cleveland better. I mean, I know I'm like off the rails when I say I like Pittsburgh and Cleveland better. Nobody ever says that. But I'll take those 2 over Indianapolis any day of the week.
I love that we got that out of you. That motivates me as you travel to Indy. Safe travels, my friend. I'll see you back for the Tennessee game.
You got it.
Jason Horowitz. Nice job by him. Really nice job by him. We are brought to you by Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. So we have this new partnership. I got to tell you about it. I was there today. It's a med spa for men. What does that mean? Just what I say. You go in. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do to look fresh, like you had a good night's rest. And for me, if you know my schedule, I need something like this. So they have a whole bunch of procedures that you can go through. If you want to lose some weight, if you need some hair restoration, if you want a facial, if you want Botox, some guys do, others don't. Whatever you want, they have it. So you go into the place, and it's not like you're going into a place where there's a bunch of women sitting in the lobby. Nothing wrong with that. This is a men's med spa here in Summerlin, and it's fantastic. I went through this procedure that I just laid back. I fell asleep. All of these creams and oils and everything you could wonder on your face, your forehead. I come out of this thing. They show a jar of what they took out of you. I'm like, oh, boy. I didn't know this, and there are other procedures that you could be really interested in. So you got to go through a consultation, which is really easy. You just talk to them, and they're trusted by their customers. They listen to the show. They want to help men get refreshed. Pretty cool for sports radio. So finally, I have a partnership like this. Tomorrow, Aesthetics for Men, right in Summerlin. You can go to their website. You could go to our website and find all about it, and I think you'll like it. This is not something, guys, where you're going to stand outside the door and go, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to go in." You'll go in, and it's really chill. The chairs and the couches alone were unbelievable. The rooms, the music they played, I really liked it. Proud partner of the show. I'll be telling you more and more about it. Tomorrow, Aesthetics for Men, proud partner here on Raider Nation Radio. All right, when we come back, we got a double dip of Pete Carroll, my conversation with the coach, which I'm excited about. And then he did a live podium session. So we're going to get to the live podium session first. We'll hear what he had to say, which would maybe be a Brock Bowers update, and then we'll get into our conversation as we continue on the flagship. Thank you, everyone. That was 120 minutes. Thank you. Appreciate the whole week. The bricklayers. Now, my big deal. Need more subscriptions, more subs. Can everybody here who's here help us out and kind of shoot the show out on YouTube to someone else? So if you go to the JT the Brick channel and you see the show, and then you take it or one of the short videos and just share it, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. This thing's getting going. But it goes in waves, man. You know, you get like 100 subscribers for a week, then you get 60. You know, I want to get this thing to 10,000, then 20,000, and I think we have the algorithm to do that. Let another bricklayer know about the show, and everybody have a great weekend. A great weekend.
Show.